another video. Thank you for all the questions, and this is just a video to sort of catch some of the odds and ends that people have asked me about and that I think are important. So here we go, really quick one. These are so odds and ends. One, keto flu. The keto flu is, people describe it as you get these lousy feelings when you're doing the keto diet. The reason for this is that the fat in your body is metabolizing, and your body stores toxins in your fat. So as the fat is used up, the toxins are released into the bloodstream. There's a really easy hack or cure for this. It's called charcoal. Charcoal is not an absorbent, charcoal is an adsorbent. That means it's electrically charged and it attaches to oppositely charged particles. So that means when you take charcoal, it doesn't wipe out everything that's good in your body, but it attaches especially to metals like mercury and lead and these sort of things that you want to get out of your body. So one of the things that I do when I'm experiencing keto flu, which will happen and which is a sign that you're into fat burning, you'll start getting headaches, you may get a low-grade fever, you may feel nauseous, all these things with the toxins leaving your body. Don't just take one little capsule of charcoal. It's not going to kill you, it's not a drug. Take a gram and a half. That way it gets into your intestines and it really cleans you out, and you'll feel better in about 30 minutes, is my experience. Second is constipation. Anytime we change our diet, especially if you've just taken the charcoal for the keto flu, you're going to find yourself maybe a little irregular. Again, don't panic. This is all part of your body changing over. I found that after, it actually took me several weeks of ups and downs and a couple days without, a bowel movement, I suppose. After a while, my body has leveled out, and now on days when I don't eat much, I might use the toilet every 2 days, but it's back to being regular in the mornings as it should be. So if you have constipation issues, don't panic. I think it's part of the natural changing over. Binging, when you are under stress, when you go through an emotional upheaval, or maybe if you've exercised, your body wants quick energy. And in this case, you'll want to eat carbs. And that's why I strongly recommend you don't get involved in any strenuous exercise above walking, because you will send your body to raise cortisol levels, which will raise insulin levels, which will make you hungry all over again, and then you feel terrible. I lost all my weight without exercising at all. And there's a gentleman online, I posted his name in the last video. His name is Butter Bob, and he's one of the most natural born teachers you'll ever meet online. And he has a lovely discussion about not exercising because it just raises your stress levels. The operating of your body uses so much of your caloric intake that just breathing and walking around will cause you to lose weight. So don't worry. And if you do binge, remember the goal here is to be nice to yourself. It is not the end of the world. If you notice my other Facebook posts, I bake a lot. And sometimes I stuff cookies into my mouth. I could go around kicking myself the next day, but I don't. I just say, get back on my diet. And anytime I get off, I maybe have an emotionally charged day, I get back onto it. Which sort of brings it another idea here, is you'll find that if you're in a carb-based diet, you eat a lot, but you also have access to quick energy. On this diet, if you do something that, say, requires a lot of energy for an hour, like I was teaching a class of Vietnamese teenagers public speaking, and they're all on holiday, so I pretty much had to yell for an hour and a half straight. Trust me, I was exhausted. But you find that when you're really into the ketosis side of it, now I'm not saying that we all get into ketosis, but we're in the heavy fat side, you'll find that you just sit down for a few minutes, take a deep breath, and you'll literally feel your energy levels restoring. It's like a container being filled up again. So in about 10 minutes, you'll find that, hey, I'm ready to go. So if you are feeling like you're craving something, my advice is just to sit down for a few minutes, take a few deep breaths, and think about something else. If it's just a passing twinge, it'll pass. If you really need to eat, don't kill yourself. Don't get all cranky because you haven't eaten. Eat. Just keep working on the fat side of it. Oh, I'm doing this at a school, so pardon the, I just saw the advertisement behind me. Another one is you're going to have a lot more free time than your friends who are sitting around stuffing their face all the time. And one of the things that I find most entertaining is I watch them stuff their face with enormous amounts of food. Skinny people shoveling food and food and food in their mouth. And I'm just thinking, you know, as time goes by, how do they use all this stuff? And then it sort of occurred to me that when I'm watching people eat low quality food, lots of empty carbs, rice, noodles, fried, outside of the house where they're using suspect oils, using cheap condiments, people eat a lot. So in other words, their body's not getting nutrition. That's what I think. And so they're shoveling tons of food in their mouth all the time. So your friends are going to have you're going to be sitting around, if you sit with your friends at lunch, buy a book, get a hobby, maybe crossword puzzles. Hitting a plateau, I think is totally normal. I hit a plateau at about 92 kilos and I've stayed there. I went down below it and I came back up and I'm about there now. But one of the things that's happened while I've been on this plateau is my fat has literally repositioned itself on my body. Quite a bit of the fat from my back has come around to the belly. So I think my body's just sort of leveling out. And so I think if you do hit a plateau, it's okay. This sort of eating plan, and again going back to like there's Dr. Jason Fung online, Butter Bob, Dr. Eric Berg, this sort of eating plan is more of a plan for life. You know, there's a place for carbs. You go on a picnic with your friends and you don't feel bad about it. But I think honestly, if you give this a try for 3 or 4 months, you'll find that you don't like carbs much anymore. It's the same with sugars. If you can get rid of the sugars, even for a few weeks, you'll find that your craving for sugar just drops. Last one I call McDonald's, because when I started on this, I was thinking, here in Singapore, they sell a chicken McMuffin at breakfast. It's a piece of fried chicken breast with an egg and cheese and mayonnaise on an English muffin. And it's pretty good. So what I tell myself is, I say, look, Dave, McDonald's isn't going to go out of business in a month. So I'm just going to put this aside for a month. I'm going to give this up for a month and make this month about what I think my body needs rather than what my brain wants it to have. I'm going to go a month without the McDonald's Egg McMuffin. It'll be there in a month. And I haven't had one since January. So I think it's important when we start the day and when you're craving things and when you think about things that you feel you're really going to miss, is to talk to yourself and make an arrangement with yourself so that, you know, you're telling yourself you're not going without permanently. You're just going to give it up for a while and see what happens. And the same thing is if you wake up and you've been starting this and you feel cranky and your resolve is slipping, watch a video on YouTube. Because what happens, and what I did was I would weigh myself every Monday morning first thing, so I'm not constantly watching the scale. And you go up and down, but generally I'm losing 1 to 3 pounds a week, right, when I was really losing the weight. And you find that after a few weeks of consistently losing weight, this takes on an energy of its own, and you'll want to do this. So be kind to yourself, work with yourself, listen to your intuition, and just try to incorporate more fat into your system. Try to really, really concentrate on whether or not you're truly hungry. I think that's a big one. And work with yourself. Don't be in pain and agony. Enjoy the process, and you'll find that once you start losing the weight, it sort of takes on a life of its own. And once you've made the sort of changes to your habits, your habitual habits, your eating habits, then it also becomes easier because now these tools are part of you. So I hope this video has been good. I'm going to make one more think after this about the psychological issues, and I'll do that right in a moment. All right, thanks guys.